Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, August 1st. We have another Team USA women's basketball video in store for you today. We have a 3 p.m. tip-off between Belgium and the U.S., so we're going to break down and analyze that game. We'll talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points and the spread, and we'll talk about any player props that I found for this game as well. And then any plays that I put in officially myself, I will list down below in the pinned comment, so make sure you check back in. That way you can see if you'd like to ride along with me, or maybe you check back in and you're like, bro, those picks are trash. Maybe you decide you want to do the opposite. But before we dive into today's game, let's recap what we took in the first game against Japan and how that all went down. We did end up taking the U.S. in the first quarter, laying the 5.5 points, put a full unit on it, and it does cash for us. Then we took Sabrina Ionescu under 9.5 points. Man, fading Sabrina is risky business. Luckily, we only put a half unit on it. She heated up from downtown, guys. I think she finished with 11 in this one, so we do not cash. Then we took Japan first quarter team total under 72.5. Another half unit on that one, and it does hit. Then we took Japan in the full game team total under 72.5. They come in at 76, so we don't cash on that one. Then we took Alyssa Thomas over 4.5 rebounds, put a half unit on it. Got that at plus 116 odds with a 30% boost from FanDuel, and this does cash for us as well. So we end up 3-2 on the night. We end up just under one full unit on the night. So a decent little start for us here to kick off these Olympics. We look to have a better night tonight, though, guys, and let's get into it, man. Let's see what we got. So Team USA comes into this one as 23-point favorites with a over-under sitting at 161.5. US, they're coming off of that 102-76 victory on Monday over Japan that kicked off this latest Olympic run. We expected their height advantage to be huge, right? It'd be a huge factor in that game, and it was. Not only did they control the boards, they out-rebounded Japan 56-27, but they blocked 11 of Japan's shots while Japan managed 0 blocks against the U.S. There is room for improvement, however. They shot only 4 of 20 from downtown, and most of that was Sabrina. She made 3 of 7 from deep, while the rest of Team USA went 1 of 13. Belgium lost to Germany in their opening game 83-69. They were beat on the boards 37-27. They allowed Germany to shoot 52% from the field and 50% from deep, while shooting only 27% from 3 themselves. After going down by 21 at the half, Belgium did win the second half, however, 44-37. Now, these two, they met in the qualifying games back in February, and that was an 81-79 win for the U.S., and that came off of a tip-in at the buzzer from Breanna Stewart. But both of these teams did look just a touch different back then. Belgium was without Kiara Linskens in that February meeting. She's a 6'4 center who was the 2022 FIBA World Cup MVP. But the U.S. did not have BG, Brittany Griner, who put up 11 and 9 in 15 minutes on 5 of 6 or 5 of 7 shooting against Japan. They didn't have Chelsea Gray, who had 13 assists in that one. And they didn't have Asia Wilson, who showed once again that she is currently the best player, not only in the WNBA, but in the entire world, with a 24 and 13 performance against Japan. Team USA obviously exploited their height advantage over Japan. We talked about that, and they dominated the glass. We talked about that as well. But Belgium does have some height to contend with the U.S., not only in Linskens, but with former WNBA Finals MVP Emma Miesemann as well, who stands at 6'4 herself. They were out-rebounded by Germany. We talked about that as well. But I do think we need to take in consideration the height that Germany team has. They got 5 players standing at 6'4 or taller. 4 of those players are in the starting lineup. The problem for Belgium in this one is going to be a lack of depth. Miesemann, Linskens, and Julie Van Loo, they all combined for 55 points on 62% shooting, but the rest of the Belgium team managed just 14 points on only 36% shooting in that game against Germany. In their qualifying game against the U.S., they were able to keep things close by heating up from downtown. They hit 41% from beyond the arc, and they jumped out to early leads of 4 after 1 and 9 at the half. Against Germany, it was the opposite. They shot only 27% from downtown, and they trailed by 14 after 1. There's simply too much depth on the side of Team USA for Belgium to contend with, in my opinion, both in the front court and the perimeter. For me, I don't want to get too carried away looking at the previous matchup between these two. There's always some rust to shake off when you're coming into those qualifying games for one, and Team USA's best player in Asia Wilson and then their best distributor in Chelsea Gray, plus the 6'9 force that is Brittany Griner, they will all be available this time around, along with the same players that beat this Belgium team by 2 in that qualifying game. They used a huge fourth quarter rally to do so. They started slow in that game, but they were then, and they remain still, the far better team. So I'll take the U.S. with the points here. And sure, that line, it's massive, but we talked about it in the first game with this group play in Olympics, or in the Olympics. A point differential and total points scored factor into tiebreakers, and the U.S. is going to want to assure that they are the highest seed heading into that knockout stage. So I expect their best effort here. But with that said, I don't mind taking a peek at Belgium with the 6.5 points in the first quarter. I do think they can match up with Team USA to start, but depth will ultimately win out here. The U.S. has picked up steam as these games have gone on so far in international play. We're not going to say that they start off slow, but they obviously get better as the game goes on. And they dominate in these second halves. They let Japan keep it within 11 at the half before pulling away in the second for that 26-point win. You couple that with the fact that Belgium started so slowly against Germany. They have that extra motivation from their almost upset of Team USA in February. I think we get Belgium's best foot forward, and I think they come out with a ton of energy. I just don't think it'll be sustainable for 40 minutes. For a total, this number keeps going up from where it opened, and I agree with that. Team USA, they want to score, they want to be aggressive, and they played with a ton of pace against Japan. They shot only 420 from deep, but they still managed to score 102 points. Belgium may have only put up 69, but they struggled tremendously in the first half, only scoring 25 points before their 44 in the second. So 2 halves more like that second half instead of that slow start that we saw, that puts us up over 80 points. And while I believe Team USA's defense is elite and better than Germany's, I don't think it's crazy to assume that Belgium can get up over 70 points in this one with just simply a better first half. And then for a player prop, I like Sabrina to record 2+3s. We can find this on FanDuel at -125. We've seen, she gave us a big old red X. We tried to fade her on the points in that first game. We've seen her. She can heat up from deep with a quickness. She hit 3 from downtown against Japan in that one. She's shooting 43% from deep in the 4 international games on the year so far, 35% from 3 throughout the WNBA season. So another player prop I'm looking at is Chelsea Gray over 7.5 assists. Now, as these games go on, we'll see defenses adjust, right? They're going to start falling off of Gray, I would assume, trying to get her to look for her shot as opposed to just finding the open teammate for the easy dish and assist like we saw against Japan. We saw her hit 13 assists in Japan or against Japan, and 11 of those in the first half alone. So I'll take my chances with the point god of the WNBA here grabbing 8 dimes. So guys, that's going to wrap it up here for another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. If you found it helpful or useful in any kind of way, please don't forget to smash that like button down there. And please hit subscribe if you have not already. It definitely helps the channel continue to grow. I hope you guys have a great day today. Bet responsibly, and now let's go get a bag, everyone.